Here is how I make these delicious, chewy, thick brookies. That is cookies and brownies mixed together. We're going to cream our butter first and add light brown sugar, then our regular granulated sugar, and mix that until it is combined. You can do this all by hand, but I like to use my mixer. It makes things easier. We'll add 1 large egg plus an egg yolk to the egg and get that all mixed in there till it's creamy. Then we're going to scrape down the sides of our bowl. If you have a stand mixer, we got to scrape down them sides. We'll add our vanilla. Then we get our flour and add that to a separate bowl for our dry ingredients. That's 2 cups of flour. To every cup of flour, it's 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And this is what makes your cookie nice and thick and stable versus a flat cookie. And then we're going to add our baking soda to these dry ingredients, mix it up. Then we're going to add it to our wet ingredients and then mix until it is combined. Which to those dry ingredients is where you would add the salt. In my case, I used salted butter. So you want to cut the salt to about 1/8 teaspoon of salt if you use salted butter. Now we're going to go in with our spatula and we're going to scrape down the sides and make sure everything is mixed in there. We're going to add 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use milk chocolate if you like. I used 1 cup of chocolate chips, but you can use more or less if you like. You want to be gentle with the stand mixer because if not, you can break up your chocolate chips. So here we're just going to scrape down with our spatula and then we will combine all of the chocolate chips evenly. Now we're moving on to the brownies. Here we're going to add our melted butter. In my case, I used that instead of vegetable oil. We're going to add 1 cup of granulated sugar plus 1/4 of brown sugar. We're going to add our vanilla extract and milk. And then we'll be adding our egg. We're going to beat this well because apparently when you beat it, once the eggs are in there, this gives that classic glossy top that, some brownies have. Then in a separate bowl, we're going to mix our dry ingredients. We're going to add flour and we're going to sift our cocoa powder into the bowl. And then we're going to add our baking soda and some salt. If you use salted butter, like in my case, you're going to go ahead and cut that salt back, probably by half. Then we're going to add that to our wet ingredients in the mixer again, get that mixed in. Go in with your spatula, scrape down the sides, combine the dry stuff that was left behind. Then we're going to add our chocolate chips. I was a little shy of the cocoa powder today, and it worked out just fine. So now the fun part, we're going to start getting the cookie dough into a prepared large pan. And in my case, all I did was rub it generously with butter. But you're just with your hand, you're going to just grab chunks and throw cookie everywhere or cookie dough till it looks something like this. Next, we're going to go in with the brownie batter and just throw it everywhere. But I try to aim in the spots where it is no cookie for the sake of just covering the bottom. But, this is nothing precise. You're going to see how this all comes together at the end. But now I'll go in with the tip of the spatula and kind of move the thick brownie batter to the open parts. So I use kind of the corner, but you'll see how it's kind of spread in there. I go in the edges and kind of move it around a little bit. Then it should look like this. Now I'm going to go in with the other half amount of the cookie dough that is left. So it should have been half of the cookie dough that you put down in the beginning. Now the second half of the cookie dough, you're going to go back over it, kind of aiming for where you see more brownie mix because you want a good mixture. So I've made these before. When I first started doing them, there were times where it would come out feeling like you're eating more of a brownie. And I love cookies. I love brownies very much too, but I wanted the cookies to definitely be there on their own as well. So then I made sure to do it this way. So you see, I aim where I see more brownie. Now I'm kind of just pressing it down a little bit more so that you get clear cookie parts and brownie bites, not where it's just all mixed and it feels like mostly brownie. But you'll see I kind of push down the cookie a little bit more, the cookie dough, popping it into the oven at 350, and here it is, nice and done. Perfect, golden brown color. The edges are crisp. Go in with a spatula, whatever you have. Pull it off the sides, make sure it's not sticking. I do this while it's still hot, fresh out of the oven. See how it's soft, and you can kind of manipulate the edges forward. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm cutting right down the center. Here we go. And there we are. Now turning the tray and getting them squares formed. So depending how big you want your pieces, you've got a lot of kids or mostly adults, or you can decide how big you want your squares to be. And mind you, I did cut this while it was still hot. And here it is, delicious, thick, chewy Brookies. Perfect mixture of cookies and brownies for you cookie and brownie lovers. Now here is the recipe coming up. Go ahead and screenshot the recipes to save to your phone for the cookies and the brownies. And I hope you and your loved ones enjoy this as much as we do.